touch of a hand. Well, me, I fall in love with you every single day, and I just wanna tell you I am. So honey, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud, maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all but gone and the memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name, when my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow old, it's evergreen. Baby, your smile's forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways, and maybe it's all part of a plan. Well, I'll just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. But baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. Baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Oh, darling, place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. Or maybe we found love right where we are. And we found love right where we are. You've been running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. 'Cause you knew that I'd call you up. You've been going around every party in LA. 'Cause you knew that I'd be at one. Oh, I know that dress is carnal, perfume regret. You got me thinking back when you were mine. Oh, and now I'm all up on you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Baby, you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. Oh. You were running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. 'Cause you knew that I'd me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Baby, you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? I know that dress is karma, perfume regret. Got me thinking about when you were mine. And now I'm all up on you, what you expect. But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention, you don't want my heart. Maybe you just hit the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I never get it over you. Over you. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I never get it over you. Easy come, easy go, that's just how you live. Oh, take it all, but you never give. Should've known you was trouble from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open, why were they open? Gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. Cause what you don't understand is I'd catch a grenade for ya. Throw my hand on a blade for ya. I jump in front of a train for ya. You know I'd do anything for ya. Oh, I would go through all this.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Ghana School of Law. This is the orientation program for the level 100 students. Shall we have an opening prayer so we can start the program? I need a volunteer.
All right, let's pray. Dear Father, we thank you for the chance to start this journey. We pray for those who have joined us as part of the orientation. We pray that in this period of the pandemic and as we go forward from 2021 into 2022, you set our path, or you set our feet on a good path, and you make everything well this academic year. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So, we'd like to welcome the Dean of the school, Professor Raymond Atuguba, to start it off. Shall we welcome him?
Good afternoon, everyone.
and welcome to the University of Ghana School of Law. We have some of you here with us physically, but we also have a lot more people joining us virtually. So I'd like to welcome the group here, but also those joining us virtually. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation. On the next slide, you would see the roadmap, which is supposed to guide what I'm going to tell you today. Can we go to the next slide? I believe it takes a few seconds for those online to view it, so we have to pause sometimes for their benefit. In the next 7 minutes or so, I would like to introduce to you the purpose of the University of Ghana School of Law. What vision and mission has the school set for itself? And then we would look at some strategic objectives that flow from that vision and mission. And I'll talk briefly about the academic calendar and the 2 streams of LLB students that we would have beginning the course, the program this year. And I also have a list of contact persons and details for whatever you would need during your studies here as a student. Not all your questions can be answered today. And so you would need these contact details to be able to pose questions to them and get answers. So let's start with the vision of the University of Ghana School of Law. So the University of Ghana School of Law has a vision to be the leaders in legal education on the African continent. So, in other words, we aim to be number 1 when you talk about African legal training. And so, internationally, when they talk about legal training in Africa, we want to be topmost. That's our vision. When we close our eyes and see the world as we imagine it, that's what we see. In specific terms, we have a mission. In other words, how do we break this vision down into achievable segments? And to achieve this wonderful vision of being number 1 in African legal education, we have 3 components of the mission. We want to provide the best education, training, and knowledge resources on the continent. But beyond legal education, training, and knowledge resources, we also want to train our students to be leaders, because we realize that many people in leadership positions in the country, on the continent, even internationally, are lawyers or have legal training. So the president of Ghana is a lawyer. So if he was not trained properly when he was in law school in leadership capacities, it means that there would be some shortfalls there. A lot of ministers of state are lawyers. A lot of managing directors of big companies are lawyers. So we want to additionally inculcate in you leadership training, leadership skills. And finally, we want to engage in research and outreach. Research is good, but reaching out into the outer world
with your research products and your advocacy skills is also important. So beyond the school, we want the community, immediate and remote, to feel the impact of what we do. Now, after the mission, we have a number of strategic objectives. In other words, on a day-to-day basis, we work on 5 things in order to realize our mission and our vision. So on a day-to-day basis, you would see that we are working consistently at improving the student experience and progression. In other words, we want you to have a swell time whilst you are students here. We want you to be comfortable, to have the material you need to study, to have lectures coming on time, excellent lecturers who know their material and are able to communicate it to you as students, extracurricular activities, and all that. As most of you know, in Ghana today, it's not only the student experience that's important. After law school, there are issues of progressing to the Ghana School of Law and to the bar. So we are taking steps to ensure that as many of you as possible, when you are done with your LLB studies here, are able to enter the law school and are able to be called to the Ghana bar. So that's our first strategic objective. How to give you a wonderful student experience whilst you're here, and how to ensure that you progress to the Ghana School of Law and to the bar successfully. Our second strategic objective is to promote mentorship here. So each one of you will be assigned to a faculty member. To promote research, conferencing. We just finished our international conference on the future of legal education. How many of you joined it online? None of you? Only one person? That's serious. And every year would have one major conference like that, one major international conference like that. And we hope that the conferences result in publications, and that during and after the conferences, we'll be able to reach out to the broader community. So for that conference, we had people participating who were not students. We had lawyers, we had participants from West Africa, from South Africa, from the US online, from Europe. So that's our second strategic objective, to make sure that we incubate here in the school lots of research, lots of conferencing, lots of publication, and lots of outreach. The third strategic objective, which is the most important one for me, is about money. You would hardly be able to do a lot of the things we are talking about unless you have the cash. So our third strategic objective is leveraging resources in order to improve the teaching and learning environment, and to do that, to improve our infrastructure. So when the president came here last month, the conference started on 29th, but it ended on the 2nd. So he launched the endowment fund last month, end of last month. That's exactly a month today. Yes, so exactly a month today, right here, the president launched our endowment fund. We're seeking to raise $150 million over 10 years. And we are hoping, it's actually not a hope, we know that the student body would assist us do that. There's a plan that is ready and involves the LSU. And so all of you will be roped into the fundraising activities pretty soon. And we won't stop until we have our $150 million. If you divide that by 10 years, it's really small for every year. The infrastructure we have right now looks less than what is up there, but we want it to look more like what is down there. or even better, so that you can have a really good time whilst you're studying here. So these are the three main strategic objectives we have. There are two other subsidiary ones, which we don't talk about externally, but which are good for the school internally. The fourth one is enhanced governance and administration, which means that we have to have systems of governance and administration that ensure that the first three objectives are effectively realized and implemented. And finally, the fifth one is well-being. Well-being of the students, well-being of the staff, and well-being of the faculty. As you know, all of what we are doing is for our welfare. But for our welfare, we need to be raising funds. But for our welfare, we need to be researching and publishing. But for our welfare, we would not need to improve the teaching and learning environment. I have put up here the membership of our school management committee, made up of very eminent persons. I chair the committee. Then we have Professor E.Y. Dankwa, very experienced senior professor in the university. We also have representatives from civil society and from the judiciary. So you can see Nana Fajenu from civil society and Justice Denita J, who is a Court of Appeal judge representing the judiciary. Then we have senior faculty also on the committee, Professor Kumado, who is now a part-time lecturer here, Professor Dona Hammond, one of our most senior professors here. And then we have the school administrator, who is here. Can you give them a wave? On it, she's the secretary to the committee. And we have the president of the LSU, Jojo, also as a member of the school management committee. I think I talked about welfare already, which is our fifth strategic objective. Before I end, let me talk about two things. The first is about our special academic calendar. As you know, the rest of the university is still on break, but we are starting. And we are starting because as a school of law, we are not bound only by the regulations of the university and the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. We are also bound by the rules and regulations of the General Legal Council and the Ghana School of Law. So, for example, the General Legal Council sets dates for the call to the bar, which is in October. So we have to ensure that in October, former students of ours are called to the bar. The Independent Examinations Committee of the General Legal Council sets a date in July for our students to apply for the entrance exam, to sit the entrance exam into the Ghana School of Law. That is a rule set by the General Legal Council in town. But it affects us because we have to graduate our students in order for them to have their certificates by July, in order to apply to write the exam to enter the Ghana School of Law. The rest of the university, they normally receive their certificates in November. Or in COVID times, they receive the certificates in January the following year. But we have to make sure that our students have their certificates by 31st July. And that's why we come earlier on and start lectures so that we are able to make time and beat those deadlines. Again, the amount of material that we cover in the law course is generally more than in other subjects. So you need more time to cover this. Finally, I would like to talk about the two streams of LLBs we have beginning this year. So for the first time since 1958, we are going to run two streams of LLBs. The first stream is your stream. Students taken from WASSCE SSS stream, A-level, baccalaureate. It's a long list of sources but all of them equivalent to the WASSCE. So your stream, we are meeting this morning, would run classes in the daytime, and you run the course, the program for 4 years, and you graduate with an LLB. Beginning this year, we're starting an evening program for those who already have a degree in something else and have written an exam and passed an interview and are coming in to do a second first degree in law, also an LLB. Their classes will run from 5 to 8 p.m. in the evenings. So please don't come and sit in those classes because they are not yours. Your classes are in the daytime. And as you can see from your schedule, there's a timetable that guides you on that. The last thing I would talk about are contact details. So the university is broken down into colleges and then into schools. So make sure that you know the hierarchy that is provided. You know already that there's a vice chancellor and pro-vice chancellors, but at the college level, there is a provost. And our provost is Professor Daniel Frimpong-Ofori, who is the provost of the College of Humanities. And the provost is assisted by a college secretary, who is like the chief administrator of the college. And that's the equivalent of, say, the registrar in the university. Then after that level, you now come to the school level, which is our level. And at the school level, you have a dean, and then you have a school administrator. I just introduced the school administrator to you. And then you have other staff in the administration. All of these details are also on the website, and you can find them there in case you would need to contact specific officers. So we have Auntie Vero, Sir Ahin, George, Naomi, all working with Susie as part of the administration. Aside that, the faculty is broken down into technical working groups. Each group is to cover a particular critical segment as illustrated in the strategic objectives. So for student progression and student experience, you have the TWG1, which is chaired by Professor Christine Dona Hammond and coordinated by Dr. Thomas Stevens. I think Dr. Thomas Stevens is here. I saw him a moment ago. Yes, he's at the back. He's giving you a wave. So normally for academic quality issues, you'd have to contact Stevens and then he can escalate it to Mrs. Dona Hammond if necessary. Our second technical working group is on research conferencing, mentorship, outreach. And that is headed by Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, who's former AG, I'm sure you would have heard of him, and coordinated by Dr. Amma Hammond. So if you're thinking about organizing a big conference, if you're thinking about a research project and so forth, these are the people to contact. The third one is on fundraising and infrastructure. It's chaired by Mr. Kwame Jan. Sure, most of you would have heard of him. He's a very senior lawyer and coordinated by Dr. Sena Deitutu. The fourth technical working group, unfortunately, we lost the coordinator to that group, who is now special prosecutor. But the chair of that group is Professor Pierre Tria, who is still here with us. And the last one is on students' welfare, staff welfare, faculty welfare. It's chaired by Dr. Manteya, who's also the advisor to the LSU and for student affairs, and is coordinated by Godwin Jokoto. So I believe that's the end of my presentation. Remember, COVID is still on. Please observe the protocols, national and university level and school level. The first 2 weeks, we are allowing people to join the lectures either physically or online. We're hoping that you use those 2 weeks to get vaccinated so that you don't pose a danger to your colleagues in class. Legon Hospital has lots of vaccines available and few people to take them. So please do that and let's keep the environment safe. Before I sit down, I would hand the mic over to the faculty who are here. Remember, some of the faculty have joined us online. I don't think they'll be able to introduce themselves online. But for the faculty who are here, I'll let them introduce themselves now. Just their name and then maybe a list of some of the subjects you teach, or in the case of the librarian, what you do. So let me start with Kwekubwedu. So thank you very much for your attention, both those here and those online. I think that the list of people I was showing, I hope you saw the library staff led by Mr. Anta. That's what's showing now. Sorry. And then the ICT staff led currently by Irene. Irene is already on your class platforms, which are being created, and she would assist you with any other IT issues you have. Last but not the least, we have the LSU, the Law Students Union. I'm sure almost all of you will be a part of the Law Students Union. They are given a segment to speak today, and so you'll be hearing more about them. But I wanted to introduce the executive committee to you. Jojo, are you here? He's not here yet, but the vice president, secretary, can you stand up? Vice president, I met you earlier this morning. Secretary, organizing secretary. They're outside. Okay. So those are their pictures. So look at the pictures properly, and then when you see them outside, you can recognize them. Thank you very much for your attention. Mr. Boydu, we can start with you for the introductions.
So my name is Kwekubwedu. You're not very likely to see me in your class because I'm here to teach IT law, which is not on your course list. But my name is Kwekubwedu. You see me mostly when it comes to issues of technology. Okay. So we're going to let each lecturer introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mameya Mensabuzu. I will be teaching, taking you for contract law at some point, and I also take criminal law, equity succession, gender and the law.
My name is Karija Sabagna. I take immovable property, company law, and law of taxation.
I'm Theodore Adimazoya. For those of you in level 100, you will come across me in international law. I will meet you in constitutional law. And as you advance in the course of the program, we'll meet in natural resources and in international trade and investment law.
My name is Augustine Kidisil. I teach topics in conflict of laws, public international law, international trade, investment law, intellectual property, and then I conduct tutorials for constitutional law.
Thank you. My name is Joanta. I'm a law librarian. It's my singular pleasure to welcome you to the University of Ghana School of Law. Tomorrow, I will have the opportunity to take you through the databases and other resources that we have in place to equip you for your training in the University of Ghana. Thank you so much, and I hope to meet you tomorrow. Thank you.
My name is Kenneth Gatti. In your first year, I'd beat you in Law 101, Ghana Legal System. In the second semester, we'd meet again in legal method. When you progress, you may come across me in environmental law, company law, and possibly natural resources law. Thank you.
Okay, so we will proceed with our program. Thanks to Dean. What I took from what Dean said is that we are aiming at being number one in Africa. In other words, each one of us should be number one in Africa. I assume, I suppose that you are here because you want to be a lawyer. So we're going to invite Mr. Gate. He's going to talk to us about the legal profession and then the environment in which we are going to operate the Ghana legal system. So shall we clap and receive Mr. Gate?
Okay. My task is to introduce you to the legal system and legal profession. Thankfully, we have a whole course designed that would assist you to get a better impression of the Ghanaian legal system going forward. I'll just spend maybe about 5 to 7 minutes telling you about what to expect with your training. Mr. Boydu just said that maybe most of you are studying law with a plan to become future lawyers. Well, those of you who also want to study law without becoming lawyers, we are very happy to help you on that journey. Like Dean said, for the first time, we have a separate cohort for the post-first degree students in the evening. So the majority of you would be coming through the WASSCE or IB or IGCSE's route into the school. During Dean's presentation, he made mention of the General Legal Council. So that is the statutory body that regulates the legal profession and legal education generally. So as a profession, we are subject to different regulatory systems. Universities are overseen by the GTEC, the Tertiary Education Commission, but we as a law school are also subject to the General Legal Council. When you start your studies, you'd realize how important this General Legal Council is to regulating the legal system and the legal profession generally. So what can you expect? You will be with us for the next 4 years. I assume that you may register to take a little below 40 courses, core courses and elective courses. I assume that will be about 34 in number. Pardon me if it's wrong. I don't know the full cohort. But over the journey here, we would expect that you write and pass all those courses to be eligible to receive a degree from the University of Ghana and to show that you have satisfied the requirements of the School of Law. But after you have finished your degree with us, you don't automatically proceed into the Ghana School of Law. There is great competition for entering the Ghana School of Law. For those of you who are not familiar with the current terrain, the Ghana School of Law, so the Ghanaian legal system runs what is described as a bifurcated legal training program. So you would go to the university and study what they normally describe as substantive law, Ghana legal system, contract law, environmental law, company law, etc. And once you've passed all of those courses, you proceed to the Ghana School of Law to do the professional or practical or procedural end of that training. I believe that currently, if you go into the Ghana School of Law, you would spend 2 years to qualify. So once you have done your 4 years here, you write an entrance exam to justify your eligibility to enter into the Ghana School of Law. So unfortunately, part of the current design of legal education is that not everybody who successfully receives a Bachelor of Laws degree from the university will end up going to the Ghana School of Law if they desire so to do. We don't know what would happen when you are graduating 4 years from now. But currently, you would have to write that entrance exam. When you go into the Ghana School of Law, you'll be expected to take an additional 10 courses. The current training format in the Ghana School of Law is that you do some classroom work and you do some practical training with law firms, the judicial service, or some other identified training centers that can provide you that training that qualifies for your practical requirement by the Ghana School of Law. And then you take an exam that qualifies you to be eligible to be called to the bar. I assume that many of you want to take that journey. I should remind you that possessing an LLB alone is not enough to go into the Ghana School of Law. You pass the exam. But secondly, if you were to go into the Ghana School of Law and you are successful with all your examinations, that also does not qualify you automatically to become a lawyer. Because what the General Legal Counsel looks out for is that you're a person of integrity to be called to the bar. So the grades are not just enough. If you are known to be a very fraudulent person and you have swindled everybody and you are engaged in criminal conduct, the possibility that you'd never become a lawyer is very, very high indeed. So whilst you're training here from now over the next 6 years, we would hope that you would be on your very best behavior. And even afterwards, you would be on even far better behavior when you become a lawyer with the social expectations that come with the profession. When you are called to the bar, the next stage of your training is that you do what is called a mandatory pupillage. So you would go into a law firm or an institution that has been granted authority to train you as a newly qualified lawyer. When you have finished that part of your process and you become eligible, you receive what is called a solicitor's license. So it is only then that you can bring cases in your own name as a lawyer. So it's the transition is almost a 3-stage transition to be a lawyer properly so-called in your own right. But I know that now that some of you have written your letters to accept your admission, your family members are already calling you lawyer. By the time you go home for the vacation, some people would even add Esquire to their names, about 40% of you. And some people's Twitter handles will change to lawyer something. But it takes a whole elaborate process to get to that very end. And then once you receive your solicitor's license, the General Legal Counsel sets professional and etiquette rules that would guide your practice as future lawyers. So this, for those of you who want to go to the very end, this is what you can expect within the Ghanaian legal system on the training path. When we come into the Ghana legal system course, we'll look at the details more particularly. You would have the pleasure of the dean teaching you 2 sessions about the legal profession generally. So I welcome all of you and I look forward to seeing you, I think on Wednesday, mid-morning for the next 10 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. I remember when I was here as a student, I was a student leader. And when we finished school, I was called back onto campus by the professors, and I was asked to fill a form. And it had to do with the character of one of my classmates. The university was considering whether to allow this person to proceed even to the Ghana School of Law. So please, let's take note that our character, the ethical aspect of this profession is very important. Thank you. So we will invite the school administrator. She's going to talk to us about the required courses that we must take. Shall we clap for her? And our online audience, please, if you have any question, please type it into the chat box.
afternoon, and Merry Christmas.
Junior.
So, after the orientation, what next? You'd have to do your
Oh,
registration.
don't use the router.
You'd have to register as a student after you have paid your fees. And then you register for required courses, the courses that you will take this semester. And these courses are, but once you do the registration, you have to print a proof that you have done the registration. You have to do the printing because you will need it. The courses that you're supposed to register for this semester are Ghana Legal System, and it is floor 101. This course explores the major legal systems of the world. In fact, when you start, they'll tell you much about them. For the sake of time, I'll just mention the titles or the course codes and the course codes. So number 1 is Ghana Legal System, 101. Number 2, Law of Contracts, 1. That is floor 103. Then we come to Constitutional Law, 105. And then English for Students, 1. The 1 signifies that they are for first semester, they are first semester courses. When you go to the next semester, they also have their own codes. So English for Students, 1, floor 107. Then you come to Logic for law students, and that is floor 109. The floor is FLAW, floor 109. So these are the courses you will do in the first semester of the next academic year, and you are required to register them online and then get the proof of registration. Tomorrow we'll talk much about policies and regulations regarding your studentship in the school and in the university. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Susie. I hear there's a question. Let's see the question and see if we can take it before the next person comes. I'm sure you've heard about how difficult it is to study law. I think the most qualified person to talk about this is Mami. And I'm sure you will, in the course of time, you know why. One of the most brilliant students that ever passed through this place. So let's welcome Mami Ya Mensah-Bonsu. She's going to talk to us about learning the law and how to survive this place.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. You're telling me about control points. Wow. Good afternoon again. So you can see me better. So I usually don't want this to be like a preaching thing. So have you heard that law is difficult? They said that to you, law is difficult. What did they say? Why is it difficult? Is it that it's not understandable or it's a lot? What did they say about studying law? So what? Sorry? I had someone start the response. What have you heard about studying the law? I only have like 10 minutes, so let's do this quickly. Anyone? What did they say about, hey, this is just studying the law. When we get to the law itself, you don't raise your hand, you will be in trouble. In my classes, you either volunteer or you will be volunteered. So take notes. What have you heard about the law? It's difficult. Please give it to the lady in the red. My favorite color, so I mean. What have you heard about studying the law?
I heard that law compared to other courses takes a lot of time.
Takes a lot of time, okay? The person behind her, for gender balance. Unless you have heard nothing about the law, in which case you are in trouble.
I've been told that it's as difficult as medicine,
It's
basically.
as difficult as medicine.
Yes.
I see. I wonder who's maybe they did both medicine and law and can anybody else, a last contributor?
Please, I also heard that law has to do with a lot of thinking and analysis, and also requires much reading, a whole lot. So if you can't read, you shouldn't even worry yourself.
You can't read, you shouldn't even
So-
come here. So generally speaking, every time I've asked this question, you'll get a lot of negative feedback. It's difficult, it's time consuming, and yes, it is all that, but it's also very rewarding. It's very fulfilling. And like our last speaker said, we will change the way you think. You will never see things the same even after the first year. You will think differently, you will think critically, you will think analytically. But all that training requires a lot of work. So congratulations on making it in the first place. You deserve, applause for yourself. Round of applause for yourself. You've done very well because not everybody made the cutoff point to get into law. So you deserve to pat yourself on the back. But that's just the groundwork. Over here, everybody sitting here is intelligent. Everybody. That's the minimum requirement. So it's nothing special to be intelligent. Are we clear? It's nothing special. You can be there. What do they call them now in your school? I don't know. My time we were sharks. Are they still sharks? Now you are shark man. I've lost. What's the technology now? Are you still sharks? We're not sharks anymore. What do they call you now? When you're very brilliant. Shark brain, or that one is even older than sharks. By now you've received so many accolades. I mean, you're in this seat, you must be brilliant, but that is the minimum requirement. It's basic. It doesn't distinguish you in any way. What will make the difference is discipline. So I always tell students, intelligence, talent without discipline is useless. You won't make it anyway. So you need to, the intelligence is your base point. You now need to get some discipline and some diligence in your work, towards your work. That is what makes the difference. So you may find that there are students who are not as good as you. If we just put bare intelligence there, they didn't do as well as you, but they will do better than you in the exam. Or they'll do better than you generally in the law because they apply themselves diligently, consistently. So if you had the habit of waiting for the last minute, and then you chew everything, and you go and make 8 A's, you are in for a shock here. You can't do that here. Believe me, you won't be the first one to have tried. You cannot do that here. So the first thing, most of the time, people, like I was saying, negative thoughts about law, and some fear is good. As for fear, there's some amount of it that is good for you. When I first studied law, the first I told my big sister, who had just finished at the faculty, that I was very scared. And she said, oh, some fear is good. It means it's important to you. It means you respect what you are doing. You place some value on it, right? But too much fear can then become debilitating. So then when you see your first class test or something results and you look at yourself and you say, hey, me that was called shark or whatever it's called, sharkus, nonkusuronus, and all these scientific terms for brilliant people that we coin. And you're now getting, I think my first assignment here, there was no mark on my paper. In fact, there was not even a red. I thought it hadn't been marked. So I walked confidently to the lecturer, said, Kumadu, Prof. And I said, oh, Prof, My work hasn't been marked. He said, oh, it's been marked. I said, it's not been marked. There's no red mark. He said, oh, that's the mark. It means it was so bad that if I had put a red mark, everything would have been red. So I just gave up. That was my first assignment. This is somebody who aced her SSC and made a first class in psychology and Spanish and whatnot. And my first assignment apparently was so bad that they couldn't have found a mark for me anyway. So they didn't mark it. And that was the mark. Some got -1, -5. The first few assignments will give you some adjustment shocks. So prepare for those. But the fear should not be the kind that weakens you. It should be the kind that motivates you to do better. Note here that we are lecturers. We are not teachers. There's a difference. In higher education, it is your job to work. Mine is to guide you. Mine is to show you where to go. So we give you cases. We give you readings. We highlight the important parts that you should be following. The rest is yours to do. So sometimes when you come, you say, this child doesn't teach at all. He didn't give me any information. Because that's not my job. I've given you everything you need, all the tools you need to find that information, to create your own notes out of it, and to digest it and produce it when I need it. That's my job. The rest is up to you. So it's a bit, it's not 50-50. Maybe it's about 30-70. 70 being from you, 30 being from us. If you misunderstand this and you think we are still in secondary school and we're going to be teaching and giving you all the answers, it will be a struggle for you to adjust. So understand that we are here to provide you with the signposts, to give you scaffolding so that you can build. But that building must be made by you, not by us. Many of us don't give notes. Many of us don't even give you PowerPoint presentations. We lecture. It's your job to look for the gem in what we are saying, to take down the examples, to provide your own. Nobody will come and write notes on the board or to dictate notes. We won't do it. Unless there's a particular thing we want you to take note of. That's why we are going to do that. Otherwise, we won't do that here. Some might give you the PowerPoint presentations when they are done, but it may be so far down the road that you can't depend on that which will come. So you wait until that day before you make your notes. It won't happen. So here you are the master of your own destiny. You got in by different strategies. You need to get out on a good note. And the only way to do that is to understand that you create your own destiny here. Don't look to your teacher to be giving you information and to be giving you answers. And some get frustrated. They say, I asked the question and the teachers, they never even answered the question. No, I show you where to go and find the answer. You go and read it and come back to me and let's discuss the answer in class. Because no two people have the same answer. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to study law. We wouldn't go to court. Why would there be an adversary and an opponent? And for what? We all agree. So you have to reorient your mind towards higher education, how we study in higher education. Priorities. Someone said it takes a lot of time. It does. A lot, about 90% of your time will be for the law. The law, we say, is a jealous mistress. It doesn't allow you to have time for people. So many relationships, many boyfriends will be left. Many girlfriends will be disappointed in the course of your 4 years. It's natural. It's natural. Accept it. Don't fight it. When it's dying, let it die in peace. Many friendships will be sacrificed at the altar of the Lord. And accept it. Go with the flow. Don't hold it back. Because you need to make the time for this. But you also need to make time for other things. It doesn't mean that everything must be sacrificed. But understand that this will take a huge chunk of your life. So commit to it. That's the only way you can do it. If you fight it, you will not be able to manage the time. So prioritize. And the first thing you must prioritize is your mental health. That is the first and the most important thing. If you are not well, please sleep. Take a break. Go to the hospital. Don't limp. People come to the class and they are shivering. In fact, one of my colleagues, when we're here, wrote the exam with malaria. shivering and shaking, and of course, didn't pass. If you are not well, take a break. When you have done enough reading, take a break, sleep, rest, go out, have some fun. You are human, not a robot. But you must then prioritize everything you're doing so that you know when you are taking too much time for the fun part and not enough time for school. But your mental health is what you need to survive this journey. Are we clear? Are we clear? Take care of yourself. Sleep. When the fear comes like that, people don't sleep. Then they are studying 6 to 6. Then they'll come to class and they have bags under their eyes. Their eyes are red. They are drinking coffee and rush, energy drink, like it's the Last Supper. Please take some time for yourself. And I'll end in about 2 more points. Punctuality. As a lawyer, you need to learn, a lawyer in training, you need to learn how to submit assignments on time. If the assignment is from me, Mamiya, 1 minute late is not acceptable. I won't take it. 30 seconds late, I won't take it. 2 seconds after that, I will not take it. When I give an assignment, I walk to the delivery point, 5 minutes to time, and I wait for my assignments. So I can tell you to the last second whose paper will be accepted and whose will not. I'm not the only lecturer who's like that. So as you can see, when you came in, most of you came in late. The dean was already here. There were some colleagues that were already here. Time is important. As a lawyer, you need to learn how to manage your time. If you file a case late, you may be kicked out, knockout. You may lose the case only because you didn't file in time. So please, and then the last thing I'll say here is don't suffer in silence. We are people. Approach your lecturers. If you have a genuine concern, a genuine need, you need support, every student will be assigned a welfare, someone for their welfare. A lecturer who will be an academic advisor. Everybody, when you are assigned your academic advisor, make the time to see your academic advisor. Talk to them, and they will help you they'll give you some guidance, step by step throughout the time you are here. Don't suffer in silence, because it does not pay to pretend that you are doing okay and be answering questions. And they're the ones who answer the most questions in class. They'll be shouting that when they write, you can't follow what they are writing because they're suffering in silence. Please see your academic advisor. If you're not comfortable with your academic advisor for any reason, the welfare committee, you saw the people there, I'm one of them. See any of us, have a talk, have a chat with us, and we will be able to guide you. And on that note, I welcome you again to the School of Law. Thank you very much.
You want to spray? Okay, I have an online question. Please, in the letter, it has been stated that teaching begins on 4th January. Please, when are we actually reporting to school? So, Madam Susie will answer that question. Where's the other microphone?
Again, in that same letter, it's said that accommodation, we mentioned accommodation. So we are saying that since accommodation is not ready, unless it's ready. In fact, this morning I heard the portal is open. So if you are able to register and you get your accommodation, then you can come in before the 4th. Other than that, we have also said that we're going to do online teaching. So you can join from home, and then when your accommodation is ready, you move to campus.
Thank you. The questioner may have noticed that I didn't call his or her name. There's one professor currently with us who, when he's teaching, has a national service person sitting by him. And when you apply to join the class, the national service person checks your login name and then checks the roster And if you are not on the roster, you are not allowed in the class. So please, this is the end of, with all due respect, funny names. Please disclose your identity. You are in the School of Law. So you notice that's why I didn't read your name. But this is to all of us. Change the names on your devices to your real identity. You may get away with some lecturers, but not with every lecturer. Thank you. So we will go to our the final part of our program, because Ms. Hazel will take her part tomorrow. LSU panel, are we ready? So we're going to have the LSU panel. Continuing students will be here. Whatever questions we have for them, I believe you have some initial comments. Where's your panel? Oh, okay. So you take over from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to welcome all of you to the University of Ghana School of Law. My name is Ransford Baini, and I'm the Law Students Union Vice President. So we have a 4-member panel. The president, the organizing secretary, and a student. So I would introduce them and they'll join me here on stage. Then we'll get a brief submission from the president, and then the questions would then come in. So you can welcome Jojo Abraham Afun, who is the president. Please, a round of applause for him. Also with her is Charlotte Owusu, the organizing secretary, and Idris Yaya, a student. All right. I think Idris, you guys will have to take your seats. I don't think we can all stand. Good afternoon. I didn't hear any response. Good afternoon, please. Yes, you have received several welcomes, and I'm just going to also say welcome once again to the University of Ghana School of Law. On behalf of the leadership of the Law Students Union, I'd like to welcome you all. It appears there has been a lot said already, so we are just going to talk to you about how to adjust. As Ms. Mensah-Bonsu said, you came from senior high schools with different modules for teaching and learning as well as studying. In my time in senior high school, we used to go for prep, which was compulsory or mandatory. In the university, as you would come to understand, nobody is going to force you or compel you to study. And you may have heard a popular saying that what you don't know will not kill you. But in the law school, it's the exact opposite. What you don't know is exactly what will kill you. So for me, I'm just going to talk about how you can make the most out of your personal time to study, and also how to balance the school with your social life. I don't know what Charlotte and Idris, as well as Ransford, are going to talk about, but that is just in 5 minutes what I'll be talking about. Now, when it comes to studying in law school, you have to, in my personal experience, tailor your study routine according to your timetable. So I don't know if any of you have seen your timetables yet, but you get to know the various venues and times for your lectures. So you organize your study routine according to that. For me, I usually pick a time where my absorption is at its optimum. So usually at dawn. So from 3 a.m.
I'll be awake to be able to read. And one thing that you come to find out in law school is that the material that you are given is exactly what you should read. And so please do not forsake your course outlines. They should be your ultimate study guides. The cases that are listed there, the recommended textbooks, the recommended materials that are there, those are the ones that you should look out for and you should read. It will be a very good time for you to hone your research skills, because for certain courses, the books that are recommended, you don't need to read everything, but just a chapter of the book. Maybe in constitutional law, you need to read Bennion chapter 1, 2, 3. You'd have to know how to find that out and read it. What I'll tell you is that sometimes you may not understand what you are reading, but please read it nonetheless, because it is better for me to explain something you have already read than to explain something that you are yet to familiarize yourself with. So if you get in touch with any of your student mentors or any of your lecturers who will be then helping you to understand whatever it is that you are supposed to read, it helps if you have already read the material or you've already familiarized yourself with it. So please find an optimum study time that works for you. The time that you know that, oh, at this time, when I read, I'm able to absorb a lot. Stick to your study routine, because you will not feel like learning every day. That I can assure you. But it is the discipline that you need regardless, because it is better to be able to familiarize yourself with the things than to try to cram 2 days or 3 days to the exam. I'll be very frank with you, it does not work in law school. No matter how intelligent you think you are, no matter how smart you think you are, cramming is not the best way to secure yourself a good grade. And some of my C classes, I have this evidence of cramming to blame for them. Please, your start is also very important. So try as much as possible to adjust as quickly as you can. I'll then move on to talk about balancing your academic and social life. The union will be hosting a number of events and programs, not just to relax and unwind, but to also stimulate us intellectually. So we'll have an inter-firm moot competition. So when we talk about the moot competition, it mimics the trials that go on in our various courts. And so we have student firms which are partnered by students or led by students as partners of the various firms. There is a situation or case that is given to them. They prepare their oral and written submissions and argue them. It would be very helpful for you if you are able to join one of the student firms. Once you are properly or you are done with this orientation process, they will open up applications for you to apply. And when you are selected, you get a good chance to also have a feel of how to prepare yourself for these things that you'll be doing in future. Because I believe that the end goal of most of us is to become practitioners, right? So we'd also have social events such as the social mix. So the social mix is where we get to interact with ourselves over some drinks and some music. So as law students, it's not all library and learning as you come to know. Law students know how to get down, trust me. So you also have that opportunity to fraternize. And we are hoping that you all join in on the fun as well when the time is due. We'll also be having one of our events known as the Personality of the Month. So previously, it was limited to persons who were alumni of this great institution. However, we have expanded the frontiers of the Personality of the Month event to cover notable lawyers and legal personalities. So we invite them just as you have been invited here. There will be a topic up for discussion, and they will speak to it. And we have another session to get to know about them personally. So one thing that I also crave is your attendance during these events, because you cannot always be behind your books. I know I've stated the importance of studying, but you cannot always be behind your books. Please involve yourselves in LSU activities. We'll also open nominations for the committees, the various committees that we have here. And I think there are 2 slots for freshmen. There are 2 slots for freshmen. We'll open the nominations on your WhatsApp platform and on Telegram so that you can apply for the various committees. The Moot and Advocacy Committee, the Entertainment Committee, the Sports Committee, the Academic Committee. There are a wide range of committees that you get to find out. But finally, yes, my final remarks. I don't think I have anything else to share. But please, as I said, your study routine is important. If possible, try to get to know your seniors, identify those who are good or doing well. That might be a challenge, but as time goes on, you'll be able to identify them. Some are all talk and no work. But please, also be consistent with your studying. There are times where you will not feel motivated to, but we get to find out that often what looks like skill is simply consistent discipline. You think that somebody is very skilled, somebody knows the law, but it's just consistent discipline. Your consistency, I cannot overstate it or overestimate it. Please be consistent. If it is at least 20 pages a day that you want to do, make sure that you stick to it. And there was one thing that the former president of the union advised me that has helped me. He told me to fall in love with the law. Fall in love with it. You have to understand that this is going to be your daily bread for the next 4, 5, 6 years, depending on how you want your legal journey to go. Fall in love with the law. Be open to reading cases. Be open to learning more about how the law plays out in real life. Read news articles on the law. If there's something on bail, there's something on misappropriation of funds, there's something on causing financial loss to the state. These are all things that you should interest yourself in. Fall in love with the law, and I believe that your journey will be very fruitful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Well said. So continuing from where he stopped, I would briefly share with all of us the structure of the Law Student Union and who you should see when you have certain issues. And also, I'm going to talk to us about also getting involved in the various programs that the Law Student Union will be having. So the first thing is the structure of the LSU. You've been hearing LSU, 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 LSU. LSU is simply the Law Students Union. And by virtue of the fact that you've been admitted into the faculty and you're a student, you are automatically a member of the Law Students Union. Is that right? And for that reason, there are certain, I would say, duties or responsibilities that are required. So the first thing is that as students or as members of the union, I think when you got to the entrance, you were being informed that you'd have to pay the union dues, which is slated for 100 cedis. I think most of us in here have done that already because they were outside, the team was outside to assist you with that. The second thing is that as members of the union, your attendance will be needed for all Law Students Union programs. So apart from having in-person classes that your presence will be required at the law school, when there is any program that has been organized either by the faculty or the Law Student Union or both parties, I don't want to use compulsory, but then it's a burden on the student body to be present at most or all of LSU or faculty programs. Moving on, I'll talk about the organizational structure. So just like every institution, we have an executive council, we have a judicial council or judicial board, and we have, for want of a better word, a parliament, right? So a judicial board is responsible for adjudicating issues or matters, and the parliament is a representation of the student body. So when you start your classes, the heads of the parliament will go around and would have representation from each from your classes. I think it's 4 members. So 4 people from this particular class, this is level 100 undergraduate class, will be representing you guys at the parliamentary level. So when there are any concerns or when there are any issues, we are channeled through these people, and these people communicate when there are parliamentary sittings. And the executive council have already been introduced. It's consisted of the president, the vice president, the general secretary, who is not here, the treasurer is outside, and the organizing secretary, Charlotte, who is here. That is that on the organizational structure. And the last thing I would want to talk about is your punctuality to classes. Your punctuality to classes. Most of the time, students enter into the university with the mindset that you can decide to skip classes and go through successfully with your educational or your academic work. Please and please again, I would want to beg you that try your best not to miss your classes. For the first 2 weeks, because of issues relating to accommodation, most of the lectures are going to be held online. But going forward, the classes are going to be held in person. Please make sure and do well to be present for your class. I know this information would also be hit on again by the lecturers, and how the lecturers require your presence in the class, and sometimes attendance be used in grading you. So please and please again, make sure you do not miss your classes. Our president talked about the law students committees, the various committees that the LSU has. We'll be talking more about that, I think, tomorrow. There are various committees that work with the executive council, with the parliament, to bring out programs and plans for the student body, and would want each and every one of us to get involved. Please get involved in the things in the law school aside your books, because it looks that we come in with the mindset that the law is difficult and I just have a very short time for myself. Why would I decide to go and join other things and waste my time? These things are actually helping us to build towards wherever we are going to. So you get to know that even at your hall levels, there are students who become legal advisors to the various halls. So when you get yourself involved in the things of the LSU, it helps you to build the confidence and the grounds to pave your way through campus and finally get to the top, which is being a lawyer. So please and please again, get yourself involved in the things of the Law Students Union and faculty work. Get yourself involved. Come forward, come out of your shell. Don't, if you are someone who used to be very shy, we are training people to not only to be lawyers. I believe lawyers are generally most eloquent. So we train you guys to come out of your comfort zones. So when we are having any programs or when we are having any, and everything here is very, very important, be it fun, be it related to academic work, is very, very important. So please, when we come up with certain programs or things related to programs to develop you, and we extend the invites to you, do well to be present. You will see from the attitude of the continuing students that they are present. So why would a fresher who was a newbie decide not to be involved in these things? So please and please again, get yourself involved in all faculty matters. And we'll be creating a WhatsApp group. Already, there have been a lot of WhatsApp groups. If you want join those WhatsApp groups, which is why we're taking your details outside. So an official WhatsApp group is going to be created, and that is where most of the relevant information is going to be given to you. So please, if you did not register outside before you go back, do well to register and make sure the number you indicated is on WhatsApp, so that any information that needs to be given to you guys would be given to you. And the last thing is, most of you have issues with your academic registration. So when we are done here, there is a team outside. If you have you've not registered the course, or you have registered a course that has not been stated by Miss Susie, she mentioned 5 courses. So if you registered more than 5, or it's below the number, or you registered courses that are not supposed to be done, and you're finding difficulties in changing or canceling the courses, there's a team outside right after we are done inside. You can see to them and they'll help you. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your stay in the law school.
Right. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all again. My name is Idris Uhudiahaya. I'm a PFD 300 student. To be very honest, if you had told me a year ago that I'll be standing here using my experience to usher in a new batch, I wouldn't have believed you, because it's been a ride. But first off, I'd like to welcome you all again, because it's not been easy getting here. And that initial joy or excitement that you had when you realized you were admitted into the faculty, I'd like you to hold on to that, because you would need it. Okay. Personally, I'll be here using my experience to sort of like tell you how the law school experience has been from my perspective as a student, a normal student. So first step for me was, and this is just basically my approach. You don't have to take it, but you can just take the lesson from it, which is you have to do what works for you and what you have set out to achieve. So basically for me, I had to make the utmost sacrifice of going dark on my social media for the first 6 months, I guess, of school. It's somebody can look at it and feel like it's a bit barbaric, but personally, I had to declutter a lot of things in my life, basically, in order to sort of like focus here. So that's the first thing you'd realize. You'd realize that you'd find yourself unlearning a few behaviors or habits, and finding yourself again learning more productive ways to sort of like survive, basically. Yeah. So another thing also was there, and I think a lot of people have spoken about this, which is managing your time. Which was it's sort of going to be a shaky first few weeks, because it might seem like the onslaught of information and classes and getting your bearings or finding your bearings might be a bit intimidating, but I found out that it helps when you make like a timetable, like I think Jojo mentioned, around your classes and then your personal stuff that you'd have to do, basically be it at home, family, etc., etc. So first thing, you'd have to have a timetable, which is sort of going to be exactly like I said. It's going to surround or revolve around your classes, your tutorial classes as well, and basically, yeah, little things that you have also in the background in your life. Another thing is you need to make friends. You need to make friends, and these friends would not only be for studying, but basically they help you take the edge off. It acts like a buffer because your life cannot be. I mean, fine, you need to have tunnel vision, but then there's when it gets too much, which is basically you need other people around you to sort of like make you know or realize that you're not going through this journey alone. Because like I said, it can get a little bit stressful and tiring sometimes. You might get burnouts. So these are where your friends come in. So we have this, my friends and I have this experience where, let's say, we might be studying for something, and you come out of the house feeling so prepared, feel like you've read everything. You come to school and then someone just mentions a certain case that you might not have just you might just be hearing then. It's intimidating to say the least, but it also sort of like makes you realize you cannot do it all on your own. Basically, you cannot do it all on your own. So make some friends. These friends would be used for your study group. Study group is another very important aspect of the law school, because like I keep hitting or reiterating, you cannot do this on your own. You need help from your friends, from your lecturers. So yes, make some friends, not only friends with basically your colleagues, but if you can also make friends with some lecturers, that will also go a long way, because they usually tend to give helpful advice when the need be. Okay, third, your mental health. Miss Mensa Bonsu sort of like made a point on it, and it's something that's really important, because as law students, I mean, there have been numerous studies that have been done that state we are more susceptible to mental health issues a lot more than other people caught up in other professions. But it just goes a long way to say, please take care of yourselves. Studies are important, academics are important, but if you're not well, you cannot be producing at your highest level. So please take care of yourself. Whenever you're tired, whenever you have a burnout, just take a breather. Don't look at it like 7 months of quote unquote hell. Don't look at it that way. Don't think you have, oh, I have 5 days of collective studying and stuff to catch up on. No, don't look at it that way. Take it one step at a time, an hour at a time. If it's really difficult, then take it 1 minute at a time. You can do anything for 1 minute. So there's just that. Take a break when you need to take a break. Ask questions from both students, which are like continuing students like us, even new students. You never know where you can learn something from. And then your lecturers as well. Yeah, your lecturers. You're not scary people. You can approach them. It helps. It's actually something you should be doing, trying to find your bearings, because they have been through the system same as we are currently now. So they would be the best people to know exactly what you're going through. So you should approach them when you see them walking around, or you can schedule for meeting hours in their offices, etc., etc. It's an important thing, to say the least. Basically, yeah, this is this has been the little I can say. I'm around. If you do see me around, you can just holler at me, say this. But yeah, basically, yes. Back to what Jojo said, I'd just like to sort of like buttress this point about loving what you do, because remember, it's something that you set out to do. It's a goal that you envision yourself successfully completing. So please do everything you need to do to make sure you see this through. You need to love what you do. Love the law, basically, because there's no other way around it. You are learning this for the foreseeable future, which is about, give or take, 6 to 5 years. You need to love it. And like I said, hang on to that initial excitement that you got when you found out you were admitted or enrolled here, because you need it to see you through. There are days you might wake up feeling so tired, feeling empty as to, can I do this? Can I go on? Just take a break, 1 minute at a time. Anyone can do anything for 1 minute. So yes, I welcome you all again to the Legon Law School, and I hope your journey here would be as smooth as we hope it can be. And again, you can contact any of us when you see us walking around for any questions, anything else. Thank you very much.
So I want to welcome all of us once again. I wouldn't want to bore you by repeating what my colleagues have said. I just have a few words for everyone here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is knowing yourself and knowing who you are. Please know what works for you, because different things work for different people. So if studying at dawn is what works for me, I don't know if that will work for you too. If you are easily carried away, you're going to miss your steps. You're going to be confused. So please do a self-introspection. Who you are, where you want to get to, what you want to do, how you want to get there. And then find somebody who can mentor you in that process. It could be someone in a higher level or even a lecturer, so that you can run your ideas by them. I'd also want to talk about staying motivated positively. Sometimes you need to talk to yourself and tell yourself that I can do this. If you wake up every day and you are filled with negative energy, you are going to be drained really fast, because there's a lot of work to be done over here. So you need to learn how to speak to yourself and how to be positive in all you do. Think positively, speak positively. Don't be afraid and don't panic. Also, be nice to your colleagues, be respectful and be kind. The person seated next to you would be this person in future you would need. You never know when. So even in your times of frustration, please don't be in a hurry to lash out at people. Be nice, be kind, be respectful. Even the workers out there, the lecturers, everyone, please try and then be respectful to all of them. And don't also isolate yourself. Oh, I'm an introvert, I don't want to be around people. Please try and find a community of friends that would work for you, and choose your study mates carefully. Some people would like to take advantage of you. Some people would like to add to what you know already. You need to be smart and know where you belong. I would add that there's also a counseling committee made up of students who are readily available to support you whenever you need it. So you can reach out to us if you are in need of such facilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So would like to take any questions and proceed. Any questions from the students? Okay, so there's a question from a student online. It says, The name is Nicole Chinri. How would those of us online also rectify the academic registration issue?
Okay, so for those who are here, we'll be able to better identify the issue. But if the person is on the page, the person can privately message any of the LSU executives so that they can assist. For some of the challenges with the registration, we have to escalate it so that you go to the College of Humanities. And if it regards payment, you go to the student account office. But as regards what type of feedback we should give you, once you message us, we'll be able to assist.
Okay. Any other question? This is a question from online. For those of us who are here, any question? Yes, so before anyone would ask any question, I think there is one thing I left out. We have a mentorship program that we'll be doing, the LSU. So would be pairing the freshers with certain seniors. And so the seniors would be texting you on WhatsApp to let you know that they are your mentors in the LSU, in the law school. So when you need any help, you can go through them. So the seniors will be texting you. So please, when they text you, do well to reply. They are just there to help you. Nobody is texting you because of anything. We've had problems last year when seniors who volunteered to be mentors texted their mentees and a whole lot of issues. So please, would have student mentors texting you. When they text you, it's basically for academic purposes. If you later on develop a friendly relation with them, that's fine and up to you. But then it's basically for academic purposes. Thank you. Any question from anyone? Please ask the questions now. I beg you. Okay. Going down 1, going down 2, going down 3. Thank you. So in the absence of any question, I think the LSU is done with the panel discussion. Thank you all once again for your attention. Please, a round of applause for our executives.
Before we leave, here's a reminder. You'll notice that online teaching, we've been using Zoom for online teaching. The university says beginning 1st January, we are switching to Microsoft Teams. Now, Microsoft Teams comes with certain restrictions. You are required to use your email assigned by the university. So please take note of that. And I've just been reminded that it's not just for that purpose. When you are sending mails to the lecturers, use your university email addresses. So Teams is going to restrict you actually to use your university addresses. But nevertheless, the lecturers also expect you to use those addresses to send emails. Also, please, before 1st January, do your best to download Microsoft Teams. This is something we'll talk about later. But try, beginning today, try and just Google, look for MS Teams and download it to your devices. You will need it. It's Teams is not like Zoom where you can easily connect. Your identity is checked. So these are the two announcements. Is there any other issue? Okay. So we would like to bring proceedings to an end. Closing prayer.
So first of all, I would like to thank God for bringing this program to a successful end. And on behalf of the school, we thank you for gracing our occasion. I want us to give a round of applause to our Dean, Professor Raymond Atugba, for putting this together for all of us and giving the LSU an opportunity to share our experiences as well. A grateful and hearty thank you to all our lecturers present, Mrs. Barnes, Mr. Sabagna, Mr. Gate, Dr. Theodore, thank you very much for coming. We are very grateful. To my executives, thank you. A big thank you to the support staff for coming to help us set up and put this together. Please, can we take the closing prayer now? Please, we are praying. Our Lord and Master Jesus, we thank you so much. Thank you for us ESB and having a successful program. As we are going back to our homes, we ask that you take us safely. Bring us back tomorrow. In Jesus' name, I pray so much thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow again at 12:30.
But we asked to be like that. I didn't know that I followed them. I thought that I now I'm in the house.
Is it video? Nobody's out.
She also downloaded the app and signed up. When I downloaded the video and I borrowed, and I said, I was literally giving
That's the same thing.
they didn't video, they didn't give me anything for the audience. I follow everything. You will snap each after the picture. You'll take your picture after that and send it. Those snap picture, you can't escape. You can't escape. Your ID, everything, then you say she's you want to snap it. Any position. And just they themselves just snap. So when they just snap it like that, and the money in the next 2 minutes. Yeah, I told them how much you guys been I just want to one. I said I want to. But it's like they need to go. It's 5,000.
Let me see the app. Oh, those apps, they don't actually, it's easy as app. You make research on it.
It's just like I was coming for Magnet to change my phone all to us. I don't like the phone. Go and send the car. Or she even just call me now and confess. You can't do anything. That's why you found the head was emergency. So you just go to the system and that kind of thing. You just these are the filling station. People saying, you live with them and then you wait. You still are like the and move. Oh, you can still stay. If I send it and I come back, I need to come and drop me here again. And I'll pick you walk. But like, if I don't send it and I come, I'll go and pick that one and to go. But by the time I'll be going home, I'll go and meet Nat at the house. You catch me. They will answer, I'm missing the car that I was before. Now, what time is advisable for us? Definitely, roughly, by the time that we go to Sambuga and come back to be past 4, let's take it down. Once it's past 4, not to be down. And today, so he's 6. It's only going 3 of you. It's just by his house filling station. And guys, they're walking. And if I go and talk to me, I know how to walk. The lawyer. All the mental. I use the car. And it's not just all the time. It's not to me. I'll just start crying. No, call him, let me text him. So if he's annoyed, but I don't know. If he texts me, yeah, I don't know. It's when I call it that you're annoyed, I'll hear that you're annoyed. Please. I used the car and parked it. Wait, I know he said Amara. And I know that this Amara, if it was voiced, it's not sound.